So I'm gonna try an intro because I got told off for not doing that.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and introduce on our today's guest. So I never call her this, but her name is Shannelle Fergus. Everybody knows her as Tali, and I've known Tali for a long time. She's a fantastic choreographer, someone that's taught me a lot, and we've traveled together. We've consumed alcohol together. We've bowled together, which she hasn't enjoyed as much as I have, because I'm the best. But yeah, she's an all-around wonderful person, and anyone in the dance scene knows that she does a lot and is about a lot and has helped a lot of people. But also, if you're not in the dance scene, she has a lot of wisdom to offer, and a lot of the stuff I feel that she talks about is transferable to real life. So don't switch off if you're not a dancer, is my point.
Wow, what an intro.
That's my whole point. So the lesson we've learned is there's a lot of work to do on intros, but everything I said is still valid. Hello.
Hi. That was really nice.
Oh, was
Thanks,
it?
mate.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
all right. So Tali's basically doing her press tour, and she's going over different podcasts to promote her intensive.
Oh wow, that's not what's happening.
That's exactly what's
That's
happening.
not
She's
what's
going. She's going to
happening.
be on Sway in the Morning next, and
I'm trying to get onto Joe Budden's podcast. Really.
I've been watching that. It's actually
It's
really good.
sick.
Yeah,
I really like it.
I like him. But let's talk about the intensive then, seeing as we're here and it's the beginning. February 17th.
Yes, until the 21st.
Cool. What is it for people that don't know? What do you do?
So February 17th to the 21st, 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Hub, formerly Onyx.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be running a light version of my program, Identity, Ideas, Industry, which in short was designed to encourage curiosity in movers and makers about them as individuals, them as human beings, and the industry at large. I think, yeah, in short, I'd say that's what it's about.
And I think one of the things that's important to note, because I've done 3 of them.
I think you've done 3.
Yeah, I've done 3, and I kind of half worked, half took part in this year's one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the most surprising things for me, even as someone that knows you on a personal level, was that how valid any style was coming there. Because I think often we like see workshops with people or intensives or whatever, and we kind of know what it's going to be by who is doing it. And I definitely didn't get that from you being there. You know, like when I was there, I was like, oh, okay, I can still do my style of dance and just apply these techniques to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd done a pilot. I think that's all I'd done before the one that you, Jenny, Pax, Andy came to.
Yeah, I think so.
believe. And the pilot, I'd say, had mostly choreo dancers in it. So that edition that you guys came to reinforced that for me as much as it did for you, I think. I didn't know it would be that way, but I think it's important that it is that way. And even levels wise, it attracts not beginners, but there's people coming from like contemporary colleges or like commercial dancers, and then you've got freestylers and then choreo peeps. And yeah, that's been a nice surprise that it interests that broad spectrum.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I don't even know if, I think maybe I just found it interesting more because I have learned from you before, so I thought it'd be worth taking a chance on, if you know what I mean. But I think, yeah, now that I've done it, I would definitely like go back or recommend. I've recommended it to a lot of people that are not choreo dancers, or I guess even in the style or realm that you work in, they're more like battle heads or something. But I'm like, you can still get a lot from it and stuff.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks.
It's all right, mate.
Just on that point, I thought last night, I feel like I dreamt it almost, but in terms of you being someone that's been to a couple, I was talking to Minnie about this with Runway House as well. It's like, I almost don't want people to keep coming back.
Yeah.
Not to every year, because then it's like, it's not working then, is it? Like if you're having to come to me every summer, I don't think I'm doing my job very
Which
well.
is
And
mad.
maybe the reasons should change.
Yeah.
Like come just to like have a roll around with the people that you spend your summers with. But if you're coming because like you need it and you still haven't found ... or still don't know how to ... it's like I need to do a better job then, because I'd say in that 5 days you should come away with enough to like
which
get
is
shit
mad
happening.
because a lot of teachers don't do that. They want you, I mean, in other contexts they want you to keep coming back. They want to, in a business sense I guess, have you back. So how do you reconcile that with business wise? Like the people, it will fill up if it needs to fill up.
Yeah, well, it has so far. And I think the return rate works again so far, where there's enough room for new people to feed in, but for returning students to get back into the flow. But I am preaching to the converted for the most part with my marketing. So I'm not having to reach, I'm like maybe going one circle outside of my own. Whereas if
like friends of friends as well and stuff.
Yeah. So I guess if I told certain students like, no, fly now, then maybe I'd just go like another circle out. So you kind of, it doesn't worry me.
Yeah. Like there's more fish in the sea.
Oh
so
yeah, absolutely. Like I don't think I've tried very hard with the marketing at all. Like you drop a flyer and then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've done well for having not tried hard with the marketing, if you know what I mean.
Thank you. I mean, we're capping at like 30, so it's not like loads and loads of people for the summer anyway.
Yeah.
Because I just can't. I have one pair of eyes, and if I'm trying to keep eyes on everyone and track their journey, I don't think I can do it with more than 30 people.
Yeah, and you wouldn't consider having assistants or things like that?
No.
How come?
I think it's such like a delicate week in terms of managing the people and as creatives, and I don't have anyone to my right or left that I would trust to navigate it the way that I do. And I think what makes the week what it ends up being is that handling of everybody.
And I guess the only person that would be able to do that in the long run is someone that had been to a lot of them, which by the sounds of it won't happen.
No, I've thought about that. I was like, what is the, like, once I'm done, does this get to carry on? And I think that it does, because
but I mean,
there is a technique to it.
But there's also something you could do past your career. You don't need to dance to do what you do in that.
Oh, you've seen how little I dance.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to start dancing less in them, to be honest, because these random demos out of the blue, just I'm not too sure about.
But it's always a choice, I feel. It's always a choice when you demo or join in, rather than like, oh, I need to show you what this exercise is. It's like, oh, you guys have done it, so I'm going to do this because it feels good, or I'm just going to show you how I would do this. It never feels like I need to see you do it to understand the drill.
Yeah, I think there was feedback one year about me dancing more. And so I think I took it upon myself to like make sure that I did.
Did they say why?
Mostly just to see me. Like you say, it wasn't to do with understanding. It was just like, we want to see you dance. It's like, that's very nice, but I've spent like 4 or 5 hours of the day not. So to suddenly jump in can be a little, I mean, that's my ego just needing to like drop any expectations of what that round's going to be about, because it's not about that. But then I found one of the years I genuinely just wanted to get in the mix of what was going on, because it was just a shit hot day. I lost track of whatever that question was that you asked me, but I don't know if there was a question.
I'll be completely honest, Tali, so have I.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
But that's totally fine. This is how we talk. And that's at the Hub.
Yes.
In Bethnal Green, which was formerly Onyx.
Indeed.
Let us discuss this. What's going on with London Studios?
Ooh, crikey. So specifically that? No.
I mean, I don't know, and I would love to discuss the Onyx situation and the Hub situation. I don't know anything. I just know that kind of out of the blue, for the class-going public, it seems. Onyx closed.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did hear that the faculty knew it was closing at some point.
I heard that they didn't.
You heard that? Well, this is the
I definitely broke the
problem with
news
this-
to someone.
Did you? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've heard different stories, but so now we've got the hub, which is in the same space,
Mm-hmm.
and Bly's managing it. I don't know who's owning it. Who owns it?
I
or
think
who's
some
running
of the investors, are the same as
Okay.
Onyx is.
They've just changed management.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I think it's always a problem with. I mean, people have been very like that. I've spoke to very like upset or like dismayed. Let's say even
About
though-
Onyx?
about the fact that it closed and it was such a nice space and it was such
Still a nice space.
Yeah, I think also the thing with London is like, I mean, you've been around longer than I have, but I've been 12 years or so, and it's like there's been Trocadero, there's been Madame Jojo's, there's been all these different things in the dance scene. And like,
Did you see that new thing in Croydon? Jonathan
Yeah.
reposted about it.
the
I mean, Croydon's a bit like
it's actually like 15 minutes from here,
way. Yeah, it's
so I'm
all right
chilling.
for me too.
Yeah,
But like to some, it's going to seem miles away. But
Yeah.
it's exciting that there's another
Yeah.
free situation.
this is kind of what I was going to say. Is like there's always things closing down and opening up in London, and I feel like, especially, it's like, I guess with renting here, like the property is so like
Mhm.
landlords here are dickheads, I guess, and like, there's no like.
So that's the takeaway from
Yeah.
today.
No, but that like it's not like where people are just giving away free space. So we're always struggling to find space, whether it's to
Mhm.
live in or to dance in or to
Mhm.
create in. It's always a bit of like a hustle.
Mhm.
So I feel like even though something like Onyx is closed and something else will pop up,
Mhm.
that, you know, whether or not it's the hub, whether it's somewhere else,
Mhm.
there'll be, you know, there's all,
Mhm.
and then that whatever our new place is, that will shut down, and then something new will come. So I'm not super stressed because I've seen it go in cycles
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd just be interesting to see what happens. I feel like there's always drama with studios.
Yeah, there's always I do find it a shame that, as I'd say, the dance capital of Europe, really, all things considered,
Yeah.
not just
The
like
ones that, like for
choreo
the
or
for the multitude of things that we
for
have
the
going on.
work, for maybe we could have more battles considering it's London, I would have thought.
We've done well though. I mean, if you take in all the styles and stuff, even
Yeah, true.
I don't think there's a lot of countries that have way more battles than us.
Right.
So I think we're pretty up
We're
there in
alright.
terms of how much is happening. Shout out to all those people making that happen.
Indeed. I would like for us to have a better sense of home studio wise.
Yeah.
I teach at base, sharing that my slot with Robio, and we've done that. I don't know how long base has been open now. I think it's 2 years, but we went there, and I do really enjoy the space, and I think I have a loyalty to that studio just being the first to open and be willing to house us, because leaving 68 and then moving to Huskies, that not working, and then just not having anywhere to teach. I mean, I'm thankful for it because I don't think I'd be as comfortable freestyling or would freestyle as much if it wasn't for that year in hindsight. But I am grateful to base for giving us that spot. But I do still think there's room for a studio to get it all the way right. I have no issues with base's system, faculty, any of that. But movement lifestyle is my benchmark, unfortunately, and it's just quite high.
What is it that makes it like that?
All of it. I just don't see anything wrong with it. You walk in, you feel immediately comfortable there. And generally, LA is somewhere where you're on your own or don't know that many people, which I think makes it a friendlier space because of that. Like everyone's there solo for the most part, but you feel comfortable in the space. There's lots of space. The payment structure works well. The faculty is well curated.
It is curated by the owners who teaches?
Yeah, it's not like base where, yeah, we've got that time slot free, you can have it kind of vibe. Just the general ethos. I haven't seen their like mission statement on paper, but just everything surrounding it feels like community. But I would say that's because Sean Evaristo comes from community.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem with studios, I guess, as a person in the scene as opposed to like a class taker, but it's just the curation of the teachers. Because I feel like the two things that make a studio what it is like the facility and the teachers mostly.
Yeah, because I think ML they've also got like this system where interns, there's a slot for interns. So every week or fortnight or month, like one of their interns, which will be like a more emerging artist, they'll get a chance to teach,
which is nice.
And then they'll have like ML on the rise, which is someone that they've got their eye on but maybe not ready to give a slot to. They get to teach, and then they've got their like heavy hitters that, you know, just have their slot, and then they have a covers list, so it's not like anyone can cover.
Yeah.
Like if you can't teach, ML are sorting it out. It's not for you to pick, which just keeps a certain level of quality control.
Which is what I think you need. And I think that's, I mean, for a lot of the problems in the scene, I mean, I could go on about this forever, but
couldn't we both?
Yeah, a lot of problems in the dance scene. It's like we're out here like fighting each other and being like, no, it should be like this, no, it should be like this. And it's like for battles, it's the event organizers, and for choreo stuff, it's the studio teach. You know, it's like all these, the whole debate about like people teaching hip hop or people teaching this style or that style when they don't know. We'll definitely have Cashmere on the podcast at some point. But that's down to the studio owners. Should be. It's like us saying to the person, oh, you shouldn't be teaching hip hop, you shouldn't be and then we're all getting in there saying I can teach what I want, blah blah blah. If you run a dance studio, I think you should know the scene well enough to be like, oh, this person's not qualified. Imagine running a ballet school and hiring
I do agree with that, but I think that if you brand yourself as a studio delivering a certain thing, then there is a responsibility there. But if you brand yourself as a collection of 6 studio spaces for hire,
right,
you relinquish yourself of that responsibility, I'd say. I don't know which base have done, to be honest, but
that's a fair point.
It's a case of getting their rooms
but that's
filled.
what I liked about Onyx, is that because I guess they hired their teachers, right?
Yeah, they curated that. I liked it too.
I felt, not that I'm like the biggest class goer, but I did feel that with Onyx, I could kind of go to any class and expect a level of quality. Whereas I don't feel like that with bass. I don't feel like that with Pineapple. I don't feel like that with, mostly those two. Like Pineapple is like, I'm like, if anyone asks me, should I take this class? I'm like, find videos of the teacher first.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that, because I have friends that maybe dance a little less, and they're like, oh, any good classes on a Saturday? And I'm like, mate, apart from the ones that I'd go to, I have no idea. Like you say, I don't think you can just walk into any studio at the moment and just take whatever's on at that time. But then I just think that's a general, not problem that I have, but just observation I've made in some classes that I've taken, some shows that I go to. It's like, does this work outside of our little bubble? Not so much. Like there's some classes that I've taken recently and have been like, if I didn't know who you were or what you know, I would not have walked out knowing any of that from that hour and a half that I just spent with you. It's like going to certain showcases and like the hosts making certain jokes, or the pieces being so niche that anyone just coming to see this show on a Friday night would watch and be like, what is all of this about?
There's a lot of on that note, there's a lot of shows that I feel like are our version of, you know, when like little dance schools have their end of year showcase. It's like us of like, oh, this is what we've been working on for this year, friends, which is fine. But it doesn't feel like I'm gonna push the boundaries.
Think everything that's happening is fine depending on the intention. And
bars.
First one. I think it's fine for it to be like, let's just celebrate the year that we've had community. But I don't think that we should be doing that for like 15 years on the trot. Like, are we ever trying to reach outside of ourselves, or no?
Which is my thing about what I love about the battle scene, because I do feel that like competition enhances that progress.
Mm.
And I think that's why we've seen such a quick rise, even in the last 6 years, I think, of
Mhm.
like how, not only how many battles we've had, not only how, what people are doing in those battles, but also the level that we have in comparison to the rest of the world. Because
Right.
whereas say with these shows, it kind of is all like love and happiness, which is fine.
And shade.
And shade, yeah, of course. But I mean, the thing is, when there's nothing to win or lose, what's
Mhm.
the need to push yourself? And I think that's the one ingrained good thing about the battle scene, is that we have that need to push ourselves, even if it's the same battles every time, or like the same people or whatever. It's like you still want to beat them, or you don't want to get beaten. So you have like always an underlying need to get better every time. And I think that's part of what's helped. So I'm a big advocate for like, make stuff into competition, and you'll see a big rise in like artistic.
Yeah, or like
Not
give us
everything,
a
but
better, like just up the playing field a little bit, not to make it competitive, but it's like there's nothing between the showcases. I'm just trying to not like at people. A showcase and like breaking convention, there's like not much. We know that there are a few, but in the community generally, there's not much between a like local theatre show and like Sadler's Well stage.
yeah. So it's either like underground or it's like for the public.
Theatre. Yeah.
And
it's like, I don't really want to make an effort and spend like 150, £200 for rehearsals for a show that has like, I don't know, no wings, and like the lights look like they're for
and also when the audience is
disco.
Yeah. And also when the audience is the same people you have on your Instagram. Why am I rehearsing I could just put this out as a video and you're going to see it.
Probably see it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my thing for me. Yeah, I agree. I think Kim's showcases, especially back in the day, were like, they're serious about street dance stuff.
They were amazing.
They were that middle ground, I find. They were big and they were in front of the audience, but it didn't feel like, oh, this is for the general public.
Yeah, you wanted to make an effort for it. You weren't just doing it in a week, like doing it Thursday, Friday, and then doing the show on Saturday kind of vibe, because you wanted, and not to like show up and show out. Although, just a little shout out to for the tech crew, because everyone knows the tech was the show.
Yeah.
The tech mattered. I don't think it's like that anymore. I feel like people, I've seen techs and no one's even like taking off their coats and like probably high as fuck. Just, getting in it. But we like, Sheldon will tell you he had a separate outfit for the tech, yo.
Oh wow. That is mad. Separate outfit.
The whole crew did.
I think actually we may have done that at some point.
Oh yeah.
Wear the Toy Box t-shirts for the tech.
For the tech. Hit all them levels.
But I think that, that kind of just says everything, because it's like the people that you're there to show your piece to is the other dancers, and it's not anyone that's going to come in the audience kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, we started this sort of talking about studios, but it's the same with studios and showcases as well, of like, what is your intention? Are you trying to do this for the general public? Is this just for your friends?
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of, in that area, that is self-serving is not the right term, but it's just like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of vibes. And it's just not a particularly forward-thinking system. It doesn't seem like the venues aren't changing. Studios, to the naked eye, aren't improving. They work as they are, so they're just staying as they are, which myself and people that I'm surrounded by, like, we're pushing, not to the point of like burnout, but like we're constantly trying to be better, do better, and there's something in that outgrows certain institutions. I'm feeling in this present moment, I'm just feeling that way a little bit. And I think, I mean, I'm 33 years old, and so it's only right that I'm not trying to be performing at like local theatres term in, term out. But it would be nice to feel that as we were all elevating everything around us, events and stuff included, was also coming with. I hope that doesn't cause offence to anybody.
No, but also
everyone's doing their best.
Also, maybe it's about the new, like there being different avenues, because it's like there's say for example, like breaking convention, let's say, it's like that serves one thing, but if there's not a lot of different options, we're all trying to shoehorn ourselves into wanting to be in breaking convention when it's like maybe that's not right for what you're doing, you know. And it may be the same for like any showcases that are like more for the community, showcases that are more for this, like, so I guess it happens with battles that, you know, it's a very small battle, there's going to be like 12 people watching, so you kind of are like, I'm just going to go and have fun,
right?
And then Just Taboo and all these big ones come along and you're like, oh, now this is the real shit, so I'm going to put some work in.
Yeah.
But I guess if you don't have that so much with choreo showcases, like the opposite happens, of where you might feel like, oh, I don't have somewhere to put this art, but not necessarily that those showcases need to change, but that they serve one specific thing, and there's like a hole to be filled with another type of showcase.
Well, I think we're quite lucky with video and film now, because a lot of the times that's how we're consuming these showcases. If we don't attend anyway, you're just watching the footage back. So.
Even sometimes when I'm there, I wait for the footage because I didn't see stuff, or
I
missed it, or I was talking, or
at the bar.
At the bar. Alcohol.
But yeah, I think film and video offer us that freedom, but I think there's room for more showcases. It's a shame that there aren't more, I think.
What I wanted to ask you as well is, going back to the classes situation and that whole world, what, in your opinion, what makes a good choreographer?
Good choreographer or teacher?
Choreographer.
The ability to create to a brief. A strong sense of identity regardless of said brief also.
I feel like Periscope was a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when it's her piece.
Yeah. But she can also jump across genres and medium. What's the plural of medium?
I'm going to say mediums, but I might
think
be wrong.
It's mediums.
Medii.
I wanted to say medii. But
it sounds more highbrow, doesn't it?
It does.
Across many medii, like swirling your brandy.
What?
It's like, I don't know, like
swirling.
Swirling.
What, you said soiling?
Soiling your brandy. It's across many medii.
Yeah, I think that's...
Mediums?
Mediums.
Medium.
Media is one media.
Not media though, medium. Like different mediums, like TV, film.
Yeah.
That's a bad example.
Multiple medium.
Oh, yeah, I get you.
Media.
Singular is media. Oh, you learned something.
Well, you can write on the YouTube comments and give me some engagement, and let's argue about this in the comments.
Yeah, I think the identity thing is important. I was talking about this with someone the other day. I think, with Kane on the other podcast.
Yeah.
The other stop on my press tour. That I think it's a lot easier as a choreographer if you have a strong sense of identity, because to keep up, if you come out the gate on a trend,
then you have to follow trends for the rest of your life.
You have to. And that's going to be a lot of work. So yeah, a good choreographer to me is one with a strong sense of identity and
but being able to manipulate that into what the client wants.
Yeah.
So following on from that, how does that relate to nowadays, like class choreo? Like, do you feel like class choreo represents what is happening in the industry? And like, when you go to a class, is it you're learning the type of choreo that you could be learning on a job and that's why you're there, or are they completely separate things? And yeah.
I need to ask some younger students this very question, because there are a few classes that I see and I wonder why the students are there. Not because I don't think they should be there, but I often think that the intention doesn't match the outcome. Like, there are some commercial classes that are packed that I imagine are great classes, but those teachers don't work in the commercial realm as far as I'm aware. So to learn commercial from that person. It's not a directly transferable.
Yeah. And I think in that sense, you're
skill.
taking commercial as a style rather than a representation of the industry.
Yeah, because I thought, especially last year when I was working more in the commercial realms, like suddenly, like, am I commercial or not? Am I? I would say I am a commercial teacher.
So then for
right
you
now.
to teach, even say, for example, if you were choreographing a tour, which or you've assisted on tours, but like, then if you were to teach a workshop, even with the same material that you worked on in the tour, could you call that a commercial workshop, even if you don't, the way you dance isn't what we associate with commercial?
I never would, but
Yeah,
I could.
That's what I'm saying. So like sometimes it's the opposite where people will teach, I guess, not having done the work, but their style relates to
I
what
think
we see as commercial.
I think a bit of more research could be done in that regard, like who is actually working and getting to those classes if the intent is to work, rather than going to all the classes labeled as commercial and thinking that's going to get you work because they're not directly in line. And I was saying this the other day, a class that I went to, wow, a little bong there. I spoke to the teacher afterwards because, like I just said, I took the class and didn't leave. I know how much this teacher knows, and I didn't leave with like a shred of that knowledge. But then it's like, I would say I got enough for me to go away and research some stuff myself. So even I had expectations of like, give me all your info. It's like, well, no, actually, Tal, like, you got the step. You can go and find out what that terminology is on your own. And I think we could maybe get back to the, not homework, but just a bit more of the research vibes as students.
What outside, I mean, thinking more in the terms of like straight kind of choreography classes or commercial classes, what research is there to be done? And I don't mean that in a kind of condescending way, but like, what research is there to be done behind someone's personalized steps?
Right. The class that I took, the teacher I knew a lot about light feet.
Okay.
So that was that specifically, and I was like, I want to know more about light feet, and I was like, go home and learn more about light feet then.
Right.
But
so that was like a style based thing. Yeah.
But with commercial and stylized choreo, I'm not sure there is much homework. I think the only homework to be done is like, are you learning from the people that you should be, given what your goal is. But choreo in general, like, I just did a shoot with Sheldon yesterday, and when we were in rehearsal, I found myself asking a lot of questions that surrounded whether something was free or not. Like, do you need the arms to be here, or are they whatever? And then I said, someone joked, and I said, well, I'm clean until given permission to be messy. And I think we've gone 180 on that, and it's a bit of a free-for-all until the teacher's told you to make define things.
Yeah.
And cleanliness is like,
I never this is something that I wonder a lot. And I'm a bit, for anyone ready to cuss me, I'm a bit like removed from the choreo scene now, I would say. It's been a while since I was taking classes 6 days a week.
I'm in this very serious pose right now. Look at me.
Interesting. I feel listened to though. I like it. But so when I first started, I was, I guess, the era where we used to look up to, like when Lal Beniga did Nike boots, and Jun Kamado was big, and who else was big in that time?
Puss.
Yeah. A lot of these people.
Lando.
And yeah, all of these guys were like the ones that I looked up to when I first started. And the thing for me was like, it was so, especially like people like Jun Kamado, who were like was one of my favorite when I first started. It's like,
I might see him next week. I'll tell him.
Oh, I did one workshop of him, and it was like at 18, I was like, oh, I met him in real life. Also, like even like Keone and Mariel, when they were young, I did one workshop with them, and I was like, yeah, but it was so precise, and like this is exactly where your hand needs to be, your finger, like there's no room for error. It's like precision on the music and in the movement. And I remember getting cussed by even the UK guys when I used to take class, and like my first classes were like Tony Adigan. My like weekly schedule was AG on a Sunday, I think, flowography, Bird on a Saturday, usually with Quells, Ivan or Kendra, actually all of them. And then I can't remember the other ones, but all of those I remember it being drilled of like, if it's blades, do blades, don't do this. Like it was like, especially Tony's was like a sucker for detail and stuff. And this was like my whole first few years of dancing was that being drilled into me. And now when I look, not only is it like, because when I see people do solos, choreographers do the solo at the end, I'm like, what part of that was freestyle and what part of that was the routine? And was there sections in that you just did your own thing? Because I'm like, how did you convey that to the students? Because you just did like a wave and it was like, is that on 1 and 2 or did it just float? Like how? And then I watched them with the group and I'm like, oh, you didn't convey that to the students. Like that's how I feel. With a lot, but like not in. I made that sounded like an asshole thing to say, but
no, I do understand it.
That like I think when they taught it, they didn't say this wave has to, which is what whenever we were taught something like a wave or a flowing movement, it was like okay, it starts on 1, finishes on 3, and it goes 1, 2, 3. And
like you know the exact journey of it. It's not like it starts there, it ends there. You've got 2 counts to get there, however you want.
Which is what I think happens now, and I'm like, oh, they don't like make it precise a lot of the moves. It's just you're doing like this flowing move and you're going to end down.
There's still a skill. I think that there's a skill to like the vibe. I'd say that's what's happening at the moment.
Disclaimer, I'm not saying any of this in a way that I think is less valid. I still think a lot of this shit is dope.
My laughter turn that into something derogatory.
Although if that goes viral and helps the podcast, then I'll take it.
It was shame. There's a skill to like a vibe, and I don't think I necessarily have that skill set because I'm still not with like a rational level of care, but I'm still in the, but what is the journey from that to that, and not just like flim flam and like, just have a good time, man. But I think there's either got to be a way to teach that, or there needs to be some kind of return to cleanliness, because unless you're working with a specific choreographer, that vibe's not, again, it's not a transferable
This is what
skill.
I was going to ask you. Like, is these things that you're learning in a lot of these classes, or not you, but whoever, is that like when you go into like, because I don't work in a choreographic sense like that. So going to auditions stuff, even like the like X Factor or these type of things, is that happening in these auditions, or is the auditions like
commercial
precision?
The only space that I see it being used is with War, the We Ain't Regular guys. That's the only place where I can see like that vibe directly transferred onto some of the biggest stages in the country.
But are they like a
collective?
Yeah, no, I mean, are they being taken as a collective they're not auditioning and then they happen to all get through and then that like they're being taken as a collective and put on.
That's the brief.
Okay,
and
cool.
so they get put on,
which is dope as fuck.
Yeah,
like,
Nathaniel, you've absolutely cracked the code. You already know. But as far as I'm aware, that is the only space for it. But following on from that, I have my classes that I'm going to just to sweat, do a fun combo that I'm no doubt going to forget as soon as I leave. Then I've got the classes that I'm going to for techers.
Yeah.
And then the classes that I'm going to because it's in my wheelhouse and it feels nice. And then the ones where like I know it will feel nice, but it's also going to be a real struggle. And then yoga. So I don't think it's invalid to take any of these classes. But again, I just think I'm not crossing the threshold into any training space without knowing what the goal is. And I don't think it should be a week full of vibes. It's useless.
Interesting.
Is my thought.
Yeah, because I'm very much looking fairly from the outside. And some of the stuff I watch, I'm like, okay, I'm watching this and I don't think in terms of... And that's the other thing, like some of the stuff like Nike boots for its time, or like some of the other like what I would see as like legendary pieces and stuff. Like at that time, I was like, this artistically watching this is crazy, which is why I used to love the showcases and stuff. Even when we used to watch Body Rock and those ones from LA, like it was the choreo. Artistically, it was the movement, that was what made it dope. And that's why I fell in love with a lot of the LA choreographers, because it was like watching Lal do Nike boots or any of these Keone Amaral's early stuff, like. I was like, wow, like I wouldn't even think to move from there to there, and the
Right.
connection and how did you, and like that
Mhm.
was what was sick to me. And I don't see, for me personally, I don't see a lot of that.
We're fatigued though, because
In
we're
the
seeing a
studios.
lot. We were all consuming the same things then, even though YouTube and stuff existed. It was still the same pieces doing the round. So not that we had no choice to like them, but I feel like we were more inclined to because of the cosigns that they'd got, or they were highly anticipated pieces of work. Whereas now you're seeing more of the same, for one, and you're just seeing a shit ton all the time. So I think we are going to get fatigued with what's being put out.
There, not to say that there aren't things, like sometimes I'll watch combos from class and I'm like, holy shit, that was good. A lot of Dylan stuff, a lot of Sheldon. He's a friend of mine, but I love watching his stuff. I mean, obviously your stuff.
Thanks, mate.
Glenn, like anything Glenn does
yeah.
is like
But
sick.
To touch on the war guys again, like I think that energy is, I'm glad that there are classes that cover it. I think it's important, and it is very of its time, and I think trends are necessary.
100%, yeah.
And I think it's necessary for our age group personally, and I think I'm one of few because no one in my age group's really at these classes.
Yeah.
But I think it's important. I feel it's important for me to know what those trends are, whether I buy in or not, and more time I don't. But I want to know what is being offered to everybody and what everyone's consuming.
I think this is one of my biggest problems with the hip hop scene in general, is that a lot of people get frozen in time and then go, this is how hip hop is. And it's like, but keep up to date. At least, even if you don't like, there's stuff I don't love. A lot of the like new rap and stuff, I don't love all of it, but I keep up to date. I know who people are. I'm
how can you have an opinion on it if you don't know anything about it?
Yeah, 100%. And how can you?
That's why I get to be so opinionated.
Killing it. But I think it's true. It's like, you have to know as much as you can so that you can say with confidence, this is how I feel. And at least, even if people can disagree, it's fine. But at least you come from a place of like backing up your opinions.
Yeah, like I'll genuinely take most classes once.
Yeah.
Not so I can have an opinion, but like I want to find new. And I also want to know what I don't want to take again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
A thinking sound.
Yeah, I've got a beard now, so I can stroke my beard while I think about things. It makes me so much wiser.
Up for debate.
So how many battles have you done now?
Going on to that topic.
Oh yes, we are.
Can meme that. The fuck was that? The first one was Show and Prove 8, 17 or 18. I've done 2 Show and Proves.
Experimental.
Yeah, Just Taboo experimental. And I did one, I think, I don't know whose event it was, but like the R&B only one.
Clara, probably.
In town? Yeah, I did that once.
Yeah,
All
like
styles.
A small bar downstairs.
Yeah,
I think that's Clara's, yeah.
All styles.
Oh, how'd you do?
Quarters, semis.
That's not bad.
Quarters, I don't know.
Top 4.
Yeah, Just Taboo's the only one that I haven't passed prelim so far.
1 out of 4 is a fucking good ratio so far.
Not bad.
I don't want to get into my ratio.
Yeah, but you've done more.
Yeah, but still.
You're like, staying with you.
Yeah, let's not bounce this back onto my battle track record, because that'll go downhill very quickly. How did you find it doing battles, especially coming into what? How old were you? Like 32, 31 when you first did one?
30.
30. So I mean, however many years into the scene and like a grown up, kind of doing something new.
I really enjoyed it. I think experimental was the right one for me to choose, but I'm already disillusioned by it and over it.
Welcome to the battle scene.
Yeah,
this is how we feel about it. Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it because I'd spent the past year or two just freestyling a whole bunch, and I don't think I'm the best by any means, but I'm just confident in like my moves.
Yeah.
So it was just nice to throw down, and there's something about, I don't want to be like battle, but
Yeah.
because experimental is the way it is, I don't think I've had that real battle experience yet. It's still just like
Quite-
rounds,
Yeah.
which battles are, but you can get away with not really directing it at your opponent or about getting into their space.
Yeah.
And I don't think I am yet to strategize. I don't think I've got far enough in a battle yet to have to like plan rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, experimental. Like I want to battle hip hop this year. I really do.
Hold you to that.
Yeah, I saw another R&B thing is happening.
Yeah, Clara's another one, I think, right?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, maybe I should enter that. And then I thought about Pop City, but I was like, no, don't get ahead of yourself now. Chill out. Like I went to Culture of Hype and Hope.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Kieran said he saw you there.
Yeah. I went to support, and then as the prelims are going, I was like, should have entered. It's since I've had it in my head that I want to do it, every time I don't and I'm watching, I'm like, why have you not thrown yourself in?
But it's also easy to say that from the sidelines. Like if you had entered, you might have been like, oh, I wish I didn't. You know what I mean? Because it's a different experience watching as it is.
I just really like, I keep speaking about it publicly and privately. Just I need to do a lot. It's not a lot of work. I just need to rid myself of the idea that low-key John Z planted the seed unknowingly that I'm not hip hop.
You are reading my notes right now. I wanted to talk about
Jumping
this.
ahead. Segue.
No, but that's fine. We're gonna get onto that. For shoes it.
Can I keep going on it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, I think, I don't know how Joker used to dance. Just Joker is an example of someone that we both like. Oh, he's just my fave. Just my fave. But I don't know if at any. My guess is that a lot of hip hop freestylers that I look at and see myself in years past didn't look like that, and it was a lot more obviously hip hop.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Are you asking me?
I wasn't, but I am now.
No, I don't. Wait, phrase the question again so I can answer.
Are there a lot of people, like, was hip hop freestyle or like in battles, were there people that I'd look at now and maybe see myself in,
but
in years past? Yeah.
I don't think so. I think a lot of them are, I think the thing with hip hop is that, battles in general, is that the people that are good now are the people that didn't,
they weren't rated then.
Oh, what's the word? Compromise. They didn't compromise. So I don't know. I didn't see Joker before he was good. I don't think, because like the first time I saw him, I was like, fuck me, he's good. Yeah. But a lot of the people who are good and are different and who stand out because they're different are only there because they didn't get swayed by this thing of like, is it hip hop and is it not? And I see a lot of people that start off with promising styles and ideas, and then they get told by whoever, OGs to their peers, oh, you have to do more hip hop, you have to do this, more bounce, more this, more that, and they do it and just fade
like
into
lose
the mass.
The magic.
Yeah,
because my assumption was that there's certain people that it was more obviously hip hop, and that's kind of evolved to what I now see, but they can get away with it because people saw that.
Potentially, that's some people, I think. But also,
my thing is me entering a hip hop forum now, because not everyone knows that I know my stuff from then. It's just kind of like.
But also, people give less of a fuck now.
Do they?
I think so. It used to be way bigger of a thing of like like using the foundations, obviously. And I think now there's a lot more acceptance for that. It's a bit more of a intricate, deeper way of using these things. You don't have to literally go out there.
It's such a shame that it hasn't always. I mean, this is me outside in-ish, but what a shame that it hasn't always been seen that way, because I realize now you're like, God, let's make this a double bill.
2 hours in, I'm like,
for how many years would I say? I'd say for like 6 years of my training, 5, 6, it was just styles or styles through choreography. So there's no way that that's not in me.
Yeah.
But as I've done other styles or just found my own way, I'd say that it's just like, to the naked eye, maybe you don't see them. But I think I'm getting to the point where now it's like, you can't tell me they're not there because I know they're there, and I'm not going to bring them out in their most rudimentary version just to make so that you can understand where I came from.
Yeah.
Because I think as well for me, like my contemporary background, which isn't technical at all, it was very like acoustic musically and had a certain emotion to it that was necessary, I think, because until I started doing contemporary, I didn't really feel, dance didn't make me feel much. It felt great and it was satisfying, but it wasn't like an emotional release until then. And I think that since going to the peak of that, or just being like, yeah, no, I'm good, I don't want to be sad anymore, I'm just trying to like bring it not back to where I started, but I definitely listen to more hip hop than I do like folk music, and I definitely dress in a way that is more aligned with hip hop than I do dress like a boho hobo person. So I'm just trying to like do that, and that's not why I want to enter a hip hop battle. I just feel like
it more aligns with your identity.
Yeah, and experimental I do feel like an experimental dancer, and I'm not saying I get the argument that every dancer is an experimental dancer, but if that's the only, and at the time it was the only battle that I felt that I could enter, I was like, why is everyone else entering it and then just like putting their shoes on their hands or like choosing that as a reason to do weird stuff? Like, I can't come into your battle and do it with my shoes off and like in a lunge. So like, is that controversial?
No, not at all. But I'm just like collating my ideas because I've got so much to say on these topics. But I just think the thing with stuff like experimental and hip hop are the main ones for me, where I'm like, they're not what they say on the tin, in the sense of like what's actually happening in the battles compared to what it's supposed to be. Because like experimental's supposed to be everybody can enter and it's just about your approach to the thing, from what I've heard. If I'm wrong, please write in and correct me. But I've heard that it's like, you know, how you experiment with your dance, and it can be anything. Now,
that makes sense.
It does on the tin, but worldwide we see contemporary dancer b-boys and people that can be flexible in the finals. So it's like,
I didn't really think it was for anyone to enter, to be honest.
Well, this is kind of
but that does make sense as to why that is what happens.
I mean, I may be fucking completely off, but from what I've heard,
it's threading.
Huh?
Is threading gone now?
In experimental?
Yeah.
I don't
it became
know.
like a threading battle.
Yeah, I mean,
I know we've
hip hop
like
is
bone breaking.
Been but I mean, it's for me, it's like, oh, who can do the most like weird, different kind of thing? Like I am pretty confident I couldn't get far in an experimental battle just doing hip hop / popping, because it's too conventional. Even if what I was doing was an experimental approach to the music, it was very free, whatever.
And then the music's an issue. Like, can we maybe have an experimental battle and you play hip hop? Because then I feel that you would see who's being experimental with their approach, and not just because they're spending the round trying to figure out what the fuck this film score is.
Yeah, and also the fact that you can have random sounds happening and do something weird, and that's more experimental, because then it's
experimental by force.
Yeah, but also it becomes unexperimental because everybody's doing weird stuff to strange music.
Out of necessity.
Yeah.
Whereas if you play a hip hop track or a popping track and then that person reverts to type because that's their form, then I would say they're not fulfilling.
Yeah. To be honest, one of the main, and I'm maybe talking out my ass because I'm not so educated, but who gives a fuck? It's my podcast. But thing that like the one thing I've seen in recent years, I was like, oh, that's experimental. Is a dude who just stood still on stage. Did you see that? He literally he got to the semis at Just Taboo, I think, and the big stage, and because Just Taboo is just standing in French,
Right.
So he went on stage with a t-shirt that says "Je suis just a bit," like I am just standing, and just stood for the entire round. And it was like, I was like, that's fucking experimental.
That's sick. I like
that's
that.
Dope. Clever idea. You, and he didn't just stand there like he performed the shit out of standing still.
Oh man.
And it was like, yeah, that's that shit. Like, I was like, I'm into that. Whereas someone's like, I don't know, like scratching themselves for 30 seconds and like it's just like everybody does that shit, and it's the same. It's not experimental that you're doing weird stuff. Like, have a reason. If you're going to be weird with a reason and a story and a concept, cool. But for me, it just seems like a bit of a cop out.
Yeah, I think I've tapped out of it now.
And I think that happens with hip hop in a similar, in a different sense. In that, like, what is advertised on the tin of what is hip hop, and sometimes what's being taught in hip hop workshops and classes isn't what is getting through in battles, and people aren't understanding. And it's been happening for a long time that people don't. They're like, oh, but the same judge the night before taught me about using the bounce and the running man and this and that, and then dude who stands still and does like tuts and stuff, me, like beats them. Yeah, I'm like, I'm that guy. But like beats them, and then they're like, oh, it's the judge that taught them about using the bounce that votes for the other person, and they're like, wait, what? Like that's not what you told me. But I think there's more subtle intricacies to the style than just doing foundation step after step, running man, this, that, like listing them. And people that we see that when we're judging or whatever, and we see these high level, but even like Joker and stuff, we see the foundation in their dance without them needing to show it to us. It's like, I always say this thing of when I'm talking teaching or talking to people, it's like, you don't see the foundations of a house. When you look at a house, it's underneath the ground, but we see the evidence that foundation is there because it's standing.
House, yeah.
So it's kind of
You're smart.
throwing them gems back at you.
Yeah, man.
But like, that's what I see with hip hop. It's like, I don't need to see every bounce. I don't need to see every like running man, every like thing that you know, but the way you move, it's like, I'm going to see that you know what you're talking about.
Right.
Based on how you structure your dance and how you move and what timing you use. And I'm like, I can see that you use the timing and the bounce of a running man in another step completely. But I'm like, oh, I know where that came from. I know how that structure became about because you know the running man. So you can do a weird little mix up. And I'm like, cool. Like I see. And that's the thing for judges also knowing what they're talking about. But so I think that's the thing, is that there's a communication gap of what these things are in reality and what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So bringing that all the way back to your original question, I think there are people that you'll look back on YouTube and see old videos of them and they're more like hip hop traditional. The Twins are a great example. If you see their old battles, like pre 2010, I think it's not so stylized in the Twins, which is now their branded thing. It's more, not completely, you still see them, but it's more that way. The difference with people like the Twins, maybe I haven't seen Joker's old videos, but people like that, I think, is that they refuse to compromise. And it's not that that was them showing, oh, I can do hip hop, so later on when I change and do my own thing, you're going to respect me. It was more of a thing of like, they were like, okay, I'm doing a bit of hip hop, I'm doing a bit of my style. And they just saw these things and went, no, fuck this. I'm doing my style. Like, and whoever you like and don't like, I have varying opinions on all these dancers, but I have nothing but respect for people that stick with their shit, because at the end of the day, it's going back to the thing you were saying about intention. It's like, what are we really trying to do in these battles? Like, who's making a living off winning battles, really? Like, just solely winning battles, you're getting, unless you're doing big money things or you're getting paid by Red Bull to fly around, you're getting £100 here, £200, £500, cool. You're not paying rent off that. So in that sense, why not be yourself? Why not stand out and take a loss now and then, but get the reputation,
Known
get the
for
work,
that.
get known bigger? Like, I find Salah is a good example of that. Like, when again, I can't say about when he first started because I wasn't there, but when I first started dancing was like 2006, 2007. And I remember hearing a lot of shit about Salah being like, oh, he's not doing popping, his technique is terrible, blah, 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 right? And he's, whatever the talk was at the time. But he just did his thing and he kept doing his thing and he kept doing his thing. And now all these people that, not
like
all of them.
now.
Yeah, and he's known for his thing. He gets hired, he gets jobs, he's an entertainer, he's amazing to watch. Even if he doesn't win the battle, you want to watch the rounds that he is in. And then a lot of people that were like, no, but I did everything right from the beginning. It's like, well, where are you? Like, you're boring. You're not winning. No one gives a shit. Like, not all of them, but it's like very rarely I find in an artistic context is like following the rules going to get you anywhere. You knowing the rules will, but following them to a T is like, who are we doing this for, really? And
I can leave because you're dropping all the bars.
But I'm holding back because I don't want to get annoyed by it because
you're getting a little redder in the face.
No, but I mean, honestly, like the reason this stresses me is because I've had to go through a lot of this shit, and I've had like, well, I'll tell that story in a second after I finish what I was going to say, but in the sense that where was I? I don't remember what I was going to say.
You lost it.
Yeah. Anyway, so basically, the reason why I care so much.
Take it back to that.
But it's like when I was dancing at the beginning, like I feel like I was one of these people, and I'm nowhere near like the level of like Salah or whatever, or any of these people that got famous or well known for their style. But I can look back across all the time I've danced and be like, I never like sacrificed how I wanted to move, if you know what I mean. And I've had people, like so many people, talk shit about it, and like a lot of the times when I've won battles or beaten people in battles, people have talked shit about it. I've had like close friends, like legit close friends, and I even listening to this, I don't know if they know that I'm talking about them.
Right.
Like say things behind my back of like, oh yeah, he shouldn't have won that. Like he wasn't doing hip hop, like blah blah blah. All this.
That's nice.
Yeah, lovely. And like, but you know, I had one battle where my first solo win actually was tarred with controversy. No, but like I won Throwdown. That was my first one, and Link was there. He came, like he wasn't judging, but he was just there.
He's judged me highly too.
Yeah, well, I remember. We can talk about that as well. But he was just there, and I remember because this was the days when like there wasn't so many international people all around, so it was kind of a big deal that he was there. And then everyone changed their dance because he was watching. Everyone was there, like doing all the like foundation moves. I'm like, you don't do this shit. You're just doing it because he's watching. And I was watching prelims, and I was towards the end, and I was like, right, I can change my dance and dance how I don't, because I was even worse before of like not doing foundation stuff. I've learned how to integrate it a bit now. So I was like, right, I can try and do what they're doing, or I can just know I'm not going to get through prelims and do what I do every time. So I did. And in a way, it kind of freed me from any responsibility, because I was like, oh, I'm going to fucking lose anyway. I'm going to do what the hell I want. Yeah. And I won the whole thing, and I beat Kashmir in the finals, which was, you know, he's probably watching this going, no, you fucking didn't beat me.
Didn't deserve it.
Yeah, no, but it's fine. I mean, like, I don't even know what way I would have judged looking back. I don't know if maybe I would have voted for Cash. The facts are that like the judges voted for me. And like I said, I had people going, oh, he shouldn't have won, and blah, 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 all this. Yeah, so it's like, it's kind of been on me of like people saying this stuff about me and not like feeling like I was accepted, but then also kind of being like, especially because I was in the UK scene a bit before there were so many battlers. So I was just like, well, there's 7 of you, fuck off. Like I'm coming to the next battle.
You were a cocky fucker then.
I was very cocky. But so it was just a thing of me not compromising, and for better or for worse, you know, maybe I could have gone further in my career if I did compromise, but I hate to see it when you see some young dancers that have sick style and crazy creativity and stuff, and then they just lose that over the years because they want to fit in,
right?
And they just instead of fitting in, they disappear, which I think is a big shame, because the whole point of what we're doing is artistic expression. Even if you're going to put it into a sport format, it's still artistic expression. And there's no, especially in top styles, breaking, we're getting there with the judging system and stuff. With top styles, it's a mess and it's all opinion. So even on the most agreed upon things like the hit in popping, you can say that's the most agreed upon thing that you need to include. How, when, why, how strong. Like there's so much variation even on the most agreed upon details. So say for something like hip hop, where it's a lot more free than popping even, you can't please you can't stick to one thing that's going to please the judges. So what can you do besides be yourself? You know? So I think that's such a shame when people try to blend into this, what the ideal of what they think hip hop is.
Right.
And end up losing out. And often it's not the battle winners that are the most successful. A lot of these people that are famous in battle scenes aren't the ones, if you actually look,
they're not
they're not winning every battle.
Mhm,
Some of them
mhm,
might be.
mhm.
Like Icy's a good example. Like
Mhm.
Icy's sick and he wins a lot.
Right.
But then there's a lot of other people who I will watch their battles
All day.
non-stop. Joker, for example.
Mhm.
I don't see Joker winning all the big battles, but he's
Mhm.
one of my favorite dancers
Yeah,
in or
absolutely.
outside of a battle. So
Mhm.
yeah, I just think all the way back to your point of entering and stuff, I think it's like, it may be a bit of like a people getting accustomed to seeing your style in the battles, but then that's in the end what's going to make you more successful than someone that goes in and tries to do what they think is going to be accepted, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting at this point in my career to be doing it. And I wonder, the answer doesn't matter, but I wonder, like, why are you doing this? Like, are you doing it to win or just because you want to do it? Or like, is this a new venture that you're planning on like committing to for the next however many years? But
Are you competitive?
I'm competitive.
But do you think you'll enjoy that feedback
No,
of being like, oh, I won that, I beat that person?
In my head, I'm not winning anything.
Yeah.
Not in a defeatist way, but just...
But that's not what excites you about it, is the prospect of being glorious and
No,
the champion.
not so much. I don't know what it is that even draws me to. I think there was a spot of competitiveness with the experimental aspect, or not aspect, but those battles when I entered. But I don't think that's transferred over into hip hop, because I think like I know the forum that I'm entering and I know who the best people are, and I don't really know where I fit into all that, so it's not really worth even thinking about. Yeah, just throw down and whatever, I guess. I mean, I say that, but I'm still mad hesitant about it, so we'll see.
But I think that's a lot of the thing, is that a lot of people do enter battles just for the expression. I'm competitive in a way that, like, you've bowled with me before, so you understand my view on competitiveness. And like people, when it sounds dumb, but we play Mario Kart a lot with my friends, and they get pissed off at me because I'm very competitive, but only when I'm winning. If I'm losing, I'm like, oh, cool, nice one.
You
That
should have
was fun.
seen, like, I sent you obviously the scoreboard for my last bowling extravaganza. You should have seen the smack I was talking beforehand. I even commented on Joe, like one of the friends I was bowling with, like a Instagram post of his, just like sending some love before the smackdown begins.
And then you proceeded to lose.
And then I proceeded to lose badly.
Brilliant.
Twice. So yeah.
But that's what I love about, like, that's the part of competition I love. I love like friendly shit talking and like
I know you love
cussing each other out. And
I hate to be on the receiving end of it.
You got stressed with me in where were we? Denver. Yeah.
It's like, shut up, Luke.
Yeah. But anyway.
Sorry, I digress.
Friendly arguments aside, that's what I love about, and that's why I like battling in that way of like, I love to go back and forth, to like try and talk a bit of shit, try and put you off your game, but it's never anything personal unless it is personal, and in which case it's a whole different vibe. But yeah, for the friendly kind of competition aspect, I quite like that. And I don't really care about losing, which helps a lot. I've never been, unless I thought it was something personal against me from the judge or something like that, I don't really care about losing, because it's all opinion. And like, why am I going to be pissed that 3 people thought I lost out of a room of like 50 or whatever, So speaks on the level of battles I enter, a room of 50. I meant 5,000, yeah. But so like, I don't really care in that sense. So I quite enjoy battles because it's not really a high stakes thing for me. Unless there's the few times I've really been invested is when there's big money and I'm in the finals. And
right.
I'm like, I've got to win
Once
this.
you get to the final, I'm sure there's an element of like, go time.
Yeah. But again, it's like, you can't, what am I trying to say? You can almost not bang on anything in battles, really. Maybe like I said, breaking is what I would see as the closest, because it's like, how can you be like, oh, I'm gonna win today? Besides, if you're popular at the time, that's a bit of like confidence. But there's no one can not lose on any day. And it can be for some bullshit, or it can be for something that you're like, what? How? Yeah. It's just,
I mean, it's the same with like auditions, like commercial
Is it?
auditions.
Do you find?
Yeah. Like, you can be the best dancer in the room, but they might need like a blonde girl and your brunette. Like, it's just, no matter how well you do or what you can bring to the table, there's still so much unknown and stuff that you can't predict. So you just have to surrender to the outcome regardless.
And I think with battles, with auditions, with just as a person in general, but definitely as a dancer trying to work in life, I think you have to look at the like secondary or like underlying opportunities that a thing can bring you. So it's like that, I guess maybe going to a job, you might be like, right, if I get this job, or going to an audition, if I get this job, I've succeeded. If I don't get this job, I've failed for the day. And it's like there's a multitude of things that could come from that job that aren't getting the job. It's like they saw how well you picked up the choreo and they might keep you in mind for another thing. You might meet someone who's casting for another job. Like same with battles. I'm like, I might not win the battle, but all right, I've not gotten through prelims and people have come up to me and be like, oh, you're amazing. I need a dancer for this project. Can I hit you up?
Nice.
Like you don't have to. I've seen people blow up prelims and not get through because the level's high, but also the finals are shit. You know what I mean? Like they weren't, it was not like relevant. Even if the level's higher, we enjoyed your prelim more.
Right.
Or, you know, when we were at Just Taboo last year, UK. Bogdan and Philo are like two young guys. Bogdan lives here. Yeah, you saw the video.
I believe so.
They battled the twins.
Yes.
And it's like, you could say that, you know, Bogdan and Philo didn't succeed because they didn't get to the finals. They didn't win. They didn't qualify. But they fucking blew up that room. It was mad. Like, I haven't been at a battle. Like, that fucking made me feel good because I was like, I haven't watched a battle and felt that excited in a long time.
Yeah.
And there was like such a competitive energy between them and the twins. And it was like everybody, even though they're not from the UK, everybody was like kind of on their side to like take down the kings who were like the twins. And, you know.
They're judging this year, huh? They're judging this year.
They are. That'll be interesting to see. Controversy seems to follow them, but let's see. I mean, the thing is with the twins is like, I think we spoke about this briefly, but I think people are going to be ready to complain. They want something to not go their way to be like, oh, it's because of the twins. And it's like, no matter what you think of them as people, first of all, we don't know them. I'm saying this, I'm quite a judgmental person, but we don't know them personally. We're not in these situations. So in a real sense, we can't know how they're going to judge or what they're going to do. So I think, I don't know if this comes out before Just Taboo, and even if it does, I don't know who's going to listen. But I think what people need to know is like, don't assume you know how they're going to judge or assume what they're going to do is going to be based on this motivation or this motivation. Like some of the best dancers and the most nice people, the nicest people that I know are shit judges. And some of the like shittiest people who are like,
you're being way more opinionated than me today. It's
fine. Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Some of the most like tend to be like arseholey people, or you would think are going to be arseholes, and they dance in a very specific way, are the most fair and unbiased judges. Like there's a correlation, but there's no causation, I guess, between the two.
And another one.
Yeah. I don't even know if I'm going to have to listen to that back and see if that makes any sense. But basically, it's just like you can't tell. So I think the thing with the twins being such a polarizing force in the hip hop scene is people. I don't know if this is going to happen around the world, but I would predict that it would. Is that as they do this tour, people are going to be waiting for them to not vote for them or waiting for them to make a controversial decision.
It's a smart choice from Just Taboo, I'd say. I think they've done it for that reason.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's... My opinions aside, on the artistic thing of it, I think I wish more organizations in the battle and hip hop community would make decisions based on marketing. Because it's like, we're like, oh, let's do what the dancers want and let's do what it's like, no, put on a good event. Put on a good event with things that will sell, and I'll come if I want to and I won't if I don't want to. But you stop trying to pander to dancers. You know, there's like even down to the thing of like...
Who spend the bare minimum?
Take him.
We dancers spend the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly pandering to us, it's like, to what end? Because we're not really
funding your
contributing
battles.
to the growth of your event.
And then we're the first ones to complain if the event's dead or empty or small. And it's like, well, we're not the ones that are bringing in, you know, Just Taboo in the big stadium. It's not us that fills 16,000 seats. You know what I mean? It's like other people, and we benefit from that atmosphere. But I say we like I'm ever been on that stage, but but yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, I just think it's like we need, especially, I'm saying this as I got older, I used to be a lot more like biased with my arseholey and biased with my opinions, I think. But just like having seen it, it's like there's so many things that you can't predict how people are going to be. And you know, going back to the artistic side of it, when you can't predict how people are going to judge for the better or for the worse, what choice do you have beyond be your
Being
best
yourself.
self and let that kind of either fail or succeed? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it will kind of carry you outside of the battle scene as well, like jobs and work. And I think that's, for me, is one of the biggest things, is that battling is such a good platform to advertise yourself,
Right.
you know, for other things.
Mm-hmm. I never really look at it like that.
It depends on your route. I mean, you're not in a position that you necessarily, that's where you need your advertising to come from.
Yeah, I guess it's not where I'm strongest, so I'd probably feel quite anxious if I thought of it that way, given that it's something that I'm still quite new to.
Well, there's a lot of places where people can, for a lot of people, it's a place where they can develop their skills and develop their identity, I guess. And maybe they don't want to fit it into like the format of like a stage piece or something, but they can go and do their 1 minute round and try
take
out
whatever
their
they're
stuff.
doing in the session to an actual like
to a real job.
performative type space.
Someone like Marion, you know Marion from Paris?
There's a couple of Marians, I think. Motin.
Yeah, exactly her. Yeah. I didn't want to attempt that French pronunciation. But she, I think from my knowledge, she started off in the battle scene. I know for a while she was in the battle scene. But I remember watching her when I first started, and she had a very distinct style that wasn't like the traditional hip hop thing. And I fucking loved it. But now if you look, she's like, the stuff she's doing is amazing. Like her, even her commercial stuff, but also her theater piece was one of my favorite that I've seen in the last few years. When it came to London. And that identity, I think, was developed in the battle scene.
Right.
But then she just let it flourish elsewhere.
Right.
But so I think it's like, if you look at it as like you're working on yourself and developing yourself, then it's like the things that are going to come from that are way more than the one thing of winning that battle. If that's what you focused on.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, I don't really know if I'm driving towards a point here. I'm just saying stuff.
No, I mean, there are points. You've made many along the way, but I don't think it's about it arriving at a conclusion. That wasn't a jab.
Yeah, no.
Many points. Haven't stopped making points since we started. No, I'm joking.
Sorry.
I'm joking.
Do you think, I mean, I don't know how long we have left, but
as long as you want. No, you're the
It's
boss.
my fucking podcast.
Don't know how long we have left.
Also, it's like, just go. It's all right. We until we can rent out a studio, we got to deal with this. We're at home, and we're chilling.
Did you edit?
And I don't edit. I'm going to leave this all in.
Oh wow, sweet.
We're keeping it real, guys. No, because if I start editing, I'll start editing, and then I'll be like, oh, I can't say that. I shouldn't say that. I said I'm there, like. So
I just thought you might take like long pauses out and shit, but that's
probably not.
That's very like pernickety.
I might, but while I have 12 listeners at the moment, I'm just gonna
enjoy it more than 12 on this one.
Yeah,
prove him wrong.
Nah. So I mean, like I said, you've been in the battle scene. You're going to start doing hip hop. You've been to a few things. Do you feel welcome in the battle scene when you come? Do you feel like people are like, oh yeah, enter, or do you feel like they're a bit like?
Oh no,
get out of here.
I feel very much. Oh yeah, enter. I feel.
Oh yeah,
that's
nice to hear.
Thing.
It wasn't always like that. Not with you, but in battle scene wasn't always that open.
In show and prove and like the experimental ones, like absolutely, like just go, or like why haven't you done it sooner? Hip hop, the people that I've spoken to, which are friends, are very encouraging. So I haven't felt any resistance there yet. It's more from myself than anyone else.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, because I feel like there was a time when people, especially in the choreo scene, didn't feel like they wanted to come into the battle scene. There was also a whole like time of this foundations talk, and people like, oh, you're not doing hip hop, and then I think people took that as like, we shouldn't try and come into the battle scene. And
yeah, I mean, I can tell it's a completely different climate from even when I'd say I used to go to battles more in years past. To be honest, I was going to like, do you remember Urban Games? Sprite.
Yeah.
It was like a BMX skate breaking thing.
They had breaking there, right?
Yeah.
That was before my time.
I wasn't even dancing when I used to go to that. And I used to go B-Boy Champs before I even started dancing.
Yeah.
So I think I went to a lot more battles then, and it was a very clear divide that I don't feel as much now. But there's a lot of things that I feel it's like how much of this is driven by how long I've been doing it or how like far removed I am from not the youth, but just like the current gen. So as much as I'm around, I'm not a member of that generation. I'm just not. So how much of my perspective is formed by my standpoint versus what's actually
in
going
terms of
on?
feeling welcome, or how do you
The divide between the
okay.
two and not feeling it so much, is that just because I care less,
Right,
so
right,
I'm not
right.
seeing it?
But also, I feel like, especially nowadays, there's way more people who are at the top of the battle scene who are from the choreo scene. Even like Keron, Ice, like people like that who like came from a background of like Boy Blue or whatever. They're now some of the best in the battle scene, and it's like it's very hard to now try and be like, oh, choreo dancers, because it's like,
yeah, that's true.
it's kind of been proven wrong.
Yeah, Kieran said that to me actually, as a reason, not a reason to enter, but just like part of the argument.
Yeah.
For. So I get
What did he
that.
say? Like that
It
people...
was, and his point was more about the performative aspect, like we're used to showing and telling kind of vibe versus like, I don't know, in sessions or where battlers might train, it's not, there isn't that pressure in the room so much. But yeah, to be honest, I never really thought about it with Kay and Ice, but that's a very valid
I mean, even
point.
if you go way back, someone like Brooke was a choreography dancer. He didn't start battling until quite late, relatively, I think, compared to how long he's been around.
Yeah, true.
And now he's like the best. So it's like, there's been people like that always, but he maybe wasn't like the majority at one point of people that came from a choreography background. But now it's like, I think if you went through the list, even the people, you know, Sheldon, April, anyone that's like top 8 is like probably at least like 5 or 6 that came from a choreo background now. It's just, I think there's a lot more crossover, which is fucking super nice. I think then, which maybe we won't get into now, is the crossover of things being taken back to the studio that may not be ready to be taken back to
like
the studio.
what? Go on, let's go.
But like people that are entering battles from the choreo scene and kind of getting through prelims and feeling a bit welcome, which is good. And then going back and teaching light feet or hip hop in their routines and stuff when maybe they don't know much. They know enough to do it, but maybe not enough to teach it, which I think is the difference. Like I can do light feet. Like I can't do light feet, but I can do light feet. You know what I mean?
You sure?
No, I can't. Like Kieran taught me 2 or 3 steps, but I could do light feet. No one's going to tell me shit if I enter a light feet battle. I'm not getting through prelims, but they're not going to cuss me for it. If I teach light feet, that's a whole fucking different story. You know what I mean? Like there's a big gap between being able to do something. And that's the whole point of prelims and judges, is that there's someone there to tell you, well, no, you're not getting through. But when you teach it, like there's no one there that's like, or there isn't really someone there. So, and I think there's a lot of, I mean, I made a tweet about this the other day that everyone was sharing, about like that.
Did he who shall not be named delete his comment? Because I went to show it to someone and it was gone.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't checked. No, I haven't checked actually. But I think, the thing
Are you going to say what the tweet was? Or
oh yeah, no, I wrote a tweet that said, I don't know who needs to read, mostly lightheartedly, and I said, I don't know who needs to read this, but
that choreo of yours will be just fine without those
random light feet steps. Which is the thing for me that with this situation. No, I fucking stand behind that, but it's like, I get it if, I mean, I choreograph as well. And I'm not great or I'm not super well known for it, but I would confidently say I can choreograph. But I don't see why you're putting these steps in wrong in the thing. If it fits the vibe, like for example, the lock-in in light feet, the thing that everyone does, is supposed to happen on, from my knowledge, blame Kieran Warner if I'm wrong, happen on and 8 in the set. So if you're building up a combo in your choreo, and it ends on and 8, and the perfect way to finish that off is with a lock-in, and you've learned it enough to like fit it in my opinion, okay, cool. Because you're not saying I'm teaching light feet, I'm just putting a light feet inspired step into my choreo, which I'm saying is personalized choreo. So in that sense, you kind of cover your back. Second of all, you've done it with a bit of reason behind it. You've gone, oh, this is weighted in this way, this step. So, and because I want that feeling in my choreo, I'm going to use this step. I personally wouldn't do it. I'd do something else that represents that feeling. But that's just my style. So I get it when people want to put little bits in. But when it's like in the wrong, completely the wrong place, or like you're doing it in the wrong way, off tempo, blah, 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 there's something to be said about, okay, you're allowed to take whatever you want and use it to create, as long as you're not saying, I'm teaching light feet, you're teaching your personalized choreo. I just feel like it's a bit of, oh, light feet is popping right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think any of what you said is wrong, but I think it's a tricky one because it's fairly new, but it has established itself as a foundation versus putting a shoot in.
Yeah.
I would imagine these people that are doing what you've said shouldn't maybe be done. They're thinking of it in the same way as they would a shoot or a woe. Like it's just a like zeitgeisty thing to throw in as opposed to trying to blend a foundation with their choreo.
And I agree. And I think that follows, I'm okay with that in the sense of like hip hop foundations that like the party dances, for example, put them in the same way you would like the woe or anything like that. And this is what I was saying on the reply on the tweet, is that I think there's a difference when there's a human element. So party dances came from a cultural, like at some point there was someone who kind of made it up, but most things like the woe, was there one person that invented that, or was it like
I believe so, actually.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong in that sense, but when there's party dances, I feel like, okay, I feel like, let's say, cultural property. We all do these things. We all do them in our way. We all play. Light feet isn't that. There's people that invented light feet, and we know who they are, and they're younger than me, some of them. You know what I mean? And not only that, they're like doing their thing still now. They're still creating more stuff. And it's like I think it's just, again, like I said on the tweet, there's gray areas and there's debates to be had on certain elements of it, even with this. I just think it's maybe needs to be taken with a bit more care when there's a human element to like people that created this. It's like, especially when, as speaking as a white person who's like a guest in the hip hop culture, especially when there's like an element of these dances being born out of hard times or oppressed people. It's like, you're not just taking like, oh, your mate made up a dance and you're using it in your choreo. This is people who like, maybe this is their life, or this is all they have to get them out of whatever they're in. And that's where a lot of these hip hop dances came from. So kind of just taking stuff and throwing it into choreo willy-nilly because it's popping, for me, feels a bit disrespectful.
Yeah, I hear you.
This is a visual representation of what's popping.
And then looking at the appropriate time. There you go.
On the and 6. So yeah, that's my whole thing. Even though I made a joke out of it and I didn't mean to get so deep into it, I just think it's like, I try and be aware of that as much as I can. And having said that, I'm making a living off hip hop. It's not my culture. So it's like, I have a certain responsibility as well to just everything I do to treat it with a bit of respect. So I feel like a lot of people are sensitive to these things when they know where it comes from, if that makes sense, rather than just like a cultural fun thing that we're playing around with. But yeah, fuck do I know.
Got a bit deep there, didn't we?
Yeah. But no, I think that's the thing with these, like, people want to put these debates to sleep and be like, oh, they're not, it's negative and blah, blah, blah. Why are you telling me what to do? And it's like,
I'm not, for one.
It's like, it's fine to have the debate. There's nothing wrong. And even if, you know, what I'm saying, people are going to be like, maybe like, oh, bullshit, that's not true or whatever. And it's like, fine, but let's talk about it. Because all that we're kind of asking, I think, is that people care about where these things come
from. Or again, intent. Like, if you don't care, that's a shame, but that's your right.
Yeah.
You don't have to care. Just asking you to think about it.
Yeah. And as long as you're prepared to deal with the consequences. Like, if you're going to teach this light feet step in your routine, blah, blah, like, what if the guy who created that shows up at your class and does the routine? Like, are you fine with that? And if you are, all good.
Good speed.
It's like that, you heard about that battle rapper that used the N-word? White guy. Oh, it's happened the other day. It's very funny. He, I don't know the full story why he did it, but he was in a rap battle and thought it would be appropriate to throw that in and got punched in the face within like 3-4 seconds of saying it. And then he was like, oh, I'm going to stop battle rapping for a while and blah, blah, blah.
Oh gosh.
But it's like,
that's a terrible idea.
I was listening to Charlemagne on Breakfast Club talk about that, and he was saying, you can say what you want, but be prepared for the consequences, you know? So like no one's saying don't say it, but there's like you're gonna get punched in the face if you say it. So it's the same with this. I think it's like, okay, do what you want, but understand that there's people behind this, and understand they may not be happy about it. And if you're fine with that and you want to cause a stir, be my guest.
Rev up all you like.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I would like speaking more to the 13 followers that we have on the podcast. Like if anyone wants to talk more about this, I'd definitely be happy to talk about it. I'm very curious about these things. And like I said, definitely, I don't know which camera I'm pointing at, going to have Kashmir on the podcast at some point to talk more about the foundational aspect of these things. But yeah.
Nice.
It's definitely an interesting topic, I think.
Agreed.
And I definitely look forward to seeing you in battle sometime. I think you'd be sick.
Thanks. Yeah, it's definitely an aim.
Yeah.
And you know me, I don't really have those.
You make it sound so bad. I don't really have goals.
I'm not a goal-oriented person, so...
but more like a personal goal.
Yeah, it's just something that I've thought of. So now let's do it. I don't like things remaining ideas in my head for very long. They either go and it's never going to happen, or like, let's do it.
Let's get it
Get
out,
it
yeah.
done.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, I don't want to keep going. I mean, I do want to keep going.
Fair enough.
I do want to keep going, but
you also want it to end.
Yeah, I mean, we're hour and a half, I think, in.
Oh,
yeah, I
that's
think so.
not true.
No, I started that late.
Oh, got you. Okay.
So I think we're about an hour and a half.
Oh,
in.
wow. And how long are they normally? An
About
hour?
an hour and 10. That's all right. I mean, if people are still listening at this point, they're still listening.
Yeah.
Probably writing angry YouTube comments.
Why are you still talking?
Yeah, so thanks for being here.
Pleasure.
I appreciate you and your time always.
Aren't I a treat?
You can be. I'm joking. Well, only when you don't get involved in my bowling talk. You make me sad.
Sad tear. I don't mean to make you sad. It's all bants. It just got very annoying in Denver, that's all. Maybe it was the altitude.
I'm gonna blame the people I'm around. We're very competitive and talk a lot of shit. So
yeah, but
sorry for bringing that energy.
Can you confirm actually that I can bowl?
Yeah, you can. You were sick in Denver, but I don't know if that translates to
real life,
a
like
blanket
a general
rule. Yeah,
we've bowled more than in Denver, haven't we?
Have we? When?
Maybe not.
You don't invite me to nothing.
Maybe not. Okay,
You
I was
don't invite me
hoping for
bowling.
like a blanket cosign, but you're like, yeah, you were good in Denver.
From my experience bowling with Tali, she's always been good. That's the best I can do.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for listening. We're gonna go.
That's all you came for. I just need a cosign on the bowling. All right, the next podcast we're going to do at bowling. And see.
Bowling.
At bowling. We're going to do it while we bowl.
Right.
And then
I
we
like
see a
it.
live version.
Ab bowling. I'm down. What's that?
I feel like this is the point where everybody's already switched off.
This is the time where you need to be tuning in. It's where shit gets real. We're taking it to 2 hours, folks. I don't know where I've got all this energy from all of a sudden. We're finished.
You also finished your coffee, so.
Yeah. Second.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. And please do write YouTube comments. Please do like, subscribe, all that shit. Tali's intensive, February 17th
to the 21st.
Bookings are open now.
They are Tali.iii at yahoo.com to register. It's 100 quid for the week or 25 quid for the day, except for the 21st, because that's just for people that book on for the week. Yeah.
And catch Tali on the rest of her press tour. She'll be around.
We'll be floating around podcasts near and far.
All the two podcasts that are in the dancing.
exist.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's end this shit.
All right.
Thanks, mate.
Pleasure.